Hear that?
Okay. Wow. I know. All right. Welcome back to the Fallon in Real Life podcast. I'm Tyler.
I'm Fallon.
Yes, you are. Before we get started, make sure you hit that like, subscribe button wherever you're listening or watching, because obviously we're on YouTube, we're on TikTok, Instagram, @FallonIRL, and email your comments, questions, and concerns to FallonIRLpod@gmail.com. We have a mystery guest. You cannot see him or hear him, but if he decides to chime in on anything, because he is the keeper of wisdom, we will hear from him.
The man of knowledge.
So before we get into our topics, you said you just watched a movie called Black something.
It's called The Black Phone.
Pull that mic closer to you.
Oh.
It's got to be in the room.
A little closer. There we go.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, no, Black Phone. Oh my gosh. I don't like horror movies, but it's one of those thrillers that they all follow the same basically
predictable.
Very
pattern.
predictable. Same writers. Yeah. Okay, we're kidnapping kids. We're putting them in a basement.
Oh, are you sure it wasn't a documentary?
No, but it had a good ending. It did have a good ending. I will say that. Because I hate horror movies.
What's it called?
The Black Phone. So
I think I saw an ad for that.
Yeah, not to ruin it. I mean, again, there is a black phone. Pretty interesting.
Wow.
How it's used in the movie, but like I said, it's one of those typical hometown movies. There's a kidnapper in town. They're taking little kids, unfortunately, and but the ending was good.
Cool.
Yeah. So sometimes it's worth it. You really can't get me to watch movies like that very often, but what the hell, Livy paid for it. I figured
why not? I started watching Game of Thrones
just now.
Like 3 days ago, we started watching it. So
are you going to want a husky?
Yeah. We've made it through 5 episodes. It's good, but if there's a spectrum of shows that tell you things or shows that you need to figure it out as the audience, Game of Thrones so far is you figure this shit out, because everybody in the show is white, British, some stupid name, and it's really hard to keep track of. At the end of every episode, I'm I don't know who the Lannister dude is, from the Carsifius to the Dothraki.
All these different clans.
Yeah. So, I don't know if you've seen it.
I've seen it. I have seen it.
You've watched all of it?
A long time ago. I've pretty much watched all of it. It's good. Don't get me wrong. It's just long. It's drawn out. There's seasons to it. It's kind of a choose your own adventure kind of a start. That's what you're dealing with right now, because you're just trying to digest all of the characters.
Yeah.
There's so many characters. It's been a long time since I've watched Game of Thrones, but yeah, I'm not going to say give up on it. I mean, hell, you just finished Survivor.
Yeah, that's true.
You're a little late to the game, but I love that,
Mm-hmm.
What books are you reading right now?
We talked about it yesterday. I read, I finished Matthew McConaughey's book a while ago. I don't know if I said that on here already.
You did.
That one was really good.
Yep.
I'm trying to power through this food book right now called In Defense of the Food by Michael Pollan. It's really good. It's about how agriculture has been industrialized, and it's just kind of screwed up the way we eat, and how the Western diet is now the global diet for the most part, and how there's just too many people on the planet to go back to being agriculturally diverse.
Well, it's funny because I thought about it a lot after you talked about that yesterday, and you see it in all your packaging right now. You look at it, especially it came into play during COVID, and now after COVID, we're really seeing it where you buy a bag of grapes. Shit, these aren't grapes. They're teeny.
Yeah.
They really don't have much taste, and they're 3 times as expensive in the same bag, but the bag's not full. It's things like that. Or literally, I just bought strawberries day before yesterday. Literally, the strawberry carton wasn't even close to being full, and it was the same price, and they really didn't look that good. So it's interesting when you talk about industrialized and how we're seeing it in our foods, how we're seeing it in the wildest things, like go and get a bag of chips. Remember the little bags of chips that you put in your lunch?
Yeah.
God forbid if you open that thing and you think you're going to get anything from
Yeah,
it.
there was already no chips in it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, I was really disappointed. I had some, it wasn't Fritos. It was the, oh gosh.
We got all day. It's
Yeah,
okay.
we
We'll get
do. I'll think about it. Should I Google it?
there. What chips did I eat
Which
yesterday?
chips did I have? No. But anyhow, I opened the bag and it's like these little things, like you'd expect a nice chip. Anyhow, they've shrunk.
Yeah.
So just like so many things that we're seeing in the stores now, the foods, it's almost scary to think. And our special guest that's here today could probably elaborate on some of the foods he's seen in all the foreign countries he's been around the world. But it's pretty sad to think this is happening. It's our food. I love that you're reading a book that talks more about the organic or just a better, it's not the McDonald's approach. No offense to McDonald's,
Yeah, potential sponsor of the show.
Yeah, we just ruined that. Anyhow, so that's good. So you're reading a book that makes sense, but it's really weird to be able to look at it today and actually see the impact of that industrial control over what we're eating.
And not to get like super granular about it, but I read another book about
Rabbit holes, bro. Rabbit holes.
It's cool. We're here. Like once humans started to figure out how to farm, it's like, oh, instead of us going out and hunting and gathering, I can grow like this big ass crop of corn or potatoes. I can have more kids to feed and increase my bloodline. And then it became this vicious cycle of like, well, now I have to crop more food to feed more of my kids, and then my kids can help me on the farm. And then it just became like, well, now I just need a farm just to feed my family. And to be a farmer, you're working like 16 hours a day, as opposed to being like a hunter-gatherer. You're probably only doing it for like 4 to 6 hours a day, and you're just kind of lounging around, not getting eaten by lions for the rest of it. So it really took a turn. I mean, obviously, I think for the better as a society, I guess, in general terms of like what we have now. The food accessibility is crazy, obviously, but
think about that though. I've been watching.
Not even that long. I mean, really not that long ago.
Yeah, no, I've been watching it Alone. It's like a spin-off of Game of Thrones, but no one's being killed. Except here they are in this remote area, currently up in BC, Canada, British Columbia, on a lake, but it's inundated with grizzly bears. And it's just interesting to watch how many days these people that are dropped in this area to take care of their needs, find shelter, find food, all of the above, and how many of them are, tapping out because they're starving. They're absolutely starving. They're seeing the effects of it, mentally breaking down. And on top of that, the fearful of you're fearing your life. You've got mountain lions that are stalking you. You've got grizzly bears and, black bears that are just constantly in your campsite trying to figure out who the hell you are and whether or not they want to eat you or not. Think about that. If we had to go back and survive without the benefits of walking into a grocery store, being able to go into a restaurant and just order something to eat.
Fresh water?
Yeah, DoorDash. Like fresh water. Now, these are things that are really important too. I mean...
Hot take.
Yeah. Not to say food isn't important, but, clean water. Clean water.
Mm-hmm.
Like how many
Some countries now don't even have like full access to an abundance of clean water, right?
It is a massive problem. It's interesting though. I was watching a documentary on the Sahara, Sahara.
Get there.
I'll get there. Jeez, what an idiot! Please cut that. So just how vast and how massive the Sahara Desert really is, but how they've brought these different mechanisms that they're using today to produce water and how they're actually growing crops again in the Sierra. It was interesting to watch, but we do 70% of the 70% of the globe is covered in water. A mass percentage of that is also in our ice caps. So it's hard to see or even say, oh, we have a water problem when 70% of our surroundings are water. But yet when you dig deep and recognize it's either contaminated, like you said, these people are drinking dirty water, it's making them sick, or they just don't have it at all or access to this resource. So I'm interested to see how that plays out. I think that's going to be a big focus on a global level right now. Energy is a crisis. We know that. I'm a firm believer of solar, but there's a point, there's a point where you have to look at what are the other components you're bringing to the table, not just glass panels for your homes and your businesses and your farms. It's the storing of that through the battery systems, creating an infrastructure, a true grid, because today our grid, not to go off topic, but our grid is failing us, not just on a global level with places that can't produce enough power for their communities and they're using nuclear or they're using coal, things like that. I mean, we have the ability to change it, but it starts with our infrastructure, and it's kind of backwards right now. You've got all these electric cars running around, and we've got all these threats of brownouts and the utilities not having enough power to supply us, all of these things. But my comeback always is, what are we doing to actually put a sustainable grid in place?
Yeah.
So anyhow, that's just my 2 cents.
All right, that went a little long. First story, we got 3 startups that I'm going to Shark Tank you and our special guest because he's here.
Okay.
And you guys are going to tell me which one you would invest in. So the first one that I found, of course, I did about 15 minutes of research on a list that was curated already, so don't quote me on any of these numbers or facts or anything like that. But this first company is called Labster.
Labster, all right.
It is basically a virtual platform that provides high school students opportunities that maybe they don't have in other countries or even here, where they can basically put on a headset and they're virtually learning like chemistry, biology, stuff like that. I think it's pretty cool. Their videos are very, they're different, but it seems like something that would be kind of cool. What is this one? I can't even see it from here. But like, here's one of their demo videos.
Okay.
So they're grabbing water from a lake, and then they're going to come back, and this is testing buoyancy, I think.
Okay.
So like, in theory, this is like kind of a cool idea.
Absolutely.
Right? And it's got like tons of different stuff on here.
The company, is it a software program?
They're a tech company.
Okay.
And I'm assuming if, let's say Placer County, I'm the head honcho, and they're like, hey, we're selling this stuff. Like, do you want to install this in school? I'm assuming they just send out a couple people, they install it, or they send you the drivers to install it. And I mean, there's got to be some sort of gear involved with it too. I don't know.
I like that it's interactive, but so you've got all this access to tools, but do they tell you something? Do you learn something? What's
yeah? I mean, I'm assuming like we're not hearing sound or anything when we're watching it, but I'm assuming there's someone's telling you this is this.
Yep.
I guess my question now that we're talking about it is like, what are the building blocks that I would need to like get something out of this? Like, could I subscribe to this?
Right.
And log on, and that might be it. It might just be a website that you log on to. Like, could I, in theory, do that? We're stretching my eyesight and my and my ability to have 2 computers that are doing different things.
No,
so,
you and me both, and that's okay. But I mean, again, Labster. I like the name. We'll start with that.
Yeah. So here's like just all their
different programs,
different courses, different stuff like that.
So is it a subscription?
I think service? It is like their pricing. So I tried to find out how much it is, and it's like trying to look up prices for a restaurant, like a fancy restaurant. Okay. It's like all super vague and like just doesn't really clearly break it down. But there's higher education, high school, and then professional training.
The way I look at it is, I mean, obviously they're tapping into education, which is a great marketplace. Mm-hmm. We're assuming this is a global product. Mm-hmm. The great thing about technology is once you create it and it's built, to mass produce it is very easy to do. Mm-hmm. I'm going to put money into this business. I think it has legs. It has definitely an opportunity at hand, and it's scalable in global markets. And it seems to be very user friendly, so that means it's easily implemented into the educational system. So you could definitely feel good about your investment, but it's a matter of how much would you put in.
Cool. So our next one,
is
kind of related to what we were talking about earlier. It's called Meatable.
Okay.
It's cell-based meat. So they take basically they take the cells of a cow or a chicken, and they give it life inside of a lab, and makes, of course, they're not going to like show any pictures because it's probably kind of gross to look at.
Yeah.
But probably not any more gross than what a slaughterhouse looks like or how sausages are made.
Yeah, okay.
It's a cell-based meat. Meatable picks a single cell from animals' bodies and then develops the whole organ in labs in a natural environment. This process will take 3 years, while this company can replicate the same process within 3 weeks. So they can do it in 3 weeks, apparently.
I don't know. I would run from a business like this because it seems very scientific.
Okay.
There's just so many things that could go wrong by taking, samples from specific species and then sitting here telling me you're going to turn around and market it as a burger or a steak.
Yeah.
Like, that shit scares me.
Huh.
Yeah, so I
But it's still meat, though. It's still meat. You're just, the meat has not been, like, trapped, fed corn and fed shit
take me back for a second. So you're telling me that are these animals that have been, injected, or is this an injection, or excuse me,
it's literally like growing this from a petri dish.
Ugh,
it sounds weird.
So how are you? I can't wrap my hands around
we can
that.
move on.
Yeah, let's move on because I
Okay.
can't wrap my hands around someone, growing a cow and telling me I'm getting a quality steak.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're gonna grow a cow. I think they grow it in like slabs. I'm sure.
That just scares. Like, no, I mean, that just. Want to know what that reminds me of?
Tell me.
I was just watching Obi-Wan Kenobi, the series. And they're processing meat, it seems like, of I don't know, something they've caught, whatever it may be. But they're just cutting these things up into slabs. That's all I can think of or see when you talk about this.
Yeah.
It's just this disgusting thing that's being processed, and that we're going to eat that as people and be happy with it. No. I'm old-fashioned. I like a good fat cow. So the lab prior to Meatable still has my interest. Meatable, no.
Meatable's out.
I would almost want to meet these guys, though, just so
Pun
I
intended.
yeah, I'd want to meet these guys just to understand, like, why they are.
I think something to think about is, I mean, long after we're gone, this will probably be a thing because there's too many people on the planet.
Yep.
You can't sustain. I heard something that 27% of the land in the world is used to just feed animals. That's more than to live. It's more of a percentage of the earth than we use to live. I mean, you said the earth is what, 70% water?
Yeah, 70%.
So what percentage does that leave to forests and where we live? Like, we use so much land to do that, and life expectancy is increasing. We're not going to start dying off anytime sooner unless we really fuck things up, which we might.
Yeah, well,
But
that's, yeah. Again, alternatives, I get it. I mean, we see it right now. We drink alternatives all the time. Again, I don't know. It's like buying a veggie burger and hoping to get that burger taste. Probably not going to happen. They're getting close. I'll say that.
have you tried an Impossible Burger?
I did, and I'll never have one again. It just didn't. I don't know. I think it's healthy. I get that. But
I'm not going to say it's healthy, but it's different. It's not meat.
It wasn't for me. I mean, all the things that they added onto it. I mean, I give them credit. They tried, and it was a mistake. So I wasn't expecting it when I took a bite of it. But it definitely didn't taste like.
But is it any different than like not knowing what the meat that you just got on your burger, what happened to that? Like, is that any different? You don't know what's in the Beyond Meat burger. I mean, I guess you technically know because you could look at the ingredients, but we all know when you get a thing of steak and you look at the ingredients and it just says steak, you know that that's not all that's in it.
Well, that's it. You know, I saw something just disgusted me. It's this big frozen block that looks almost like dog food.
Mm-hmm. The ground beef.
Yeah. Dumped into a big cooker.
That's how all the meat comes, dude.
That is disgusting.
That's how it all comes. That's how it all is.
It's disgusting.
That's a hill I'll die on. Okay, we're gonna move on. I'm not standing on my soapbox anymore. Cell-based meat does weird me out. Not saying I'm lining up to try it. I would try it, but I'm not saying I would like invest in this company.
Yeah.
Because
no. Yeah. From an investment
it's a little
standpoint,
strange. Let like 4 of these fail, because that's another thing is like the first go around of this, they always suck. Like nobody likes it until somebody else. Shit.
Oh, there's
Fuck
matcha
me.
everywhere.
Wow. That's the worst thing that could happen.
right now,
Yeah.
we're gonna pause.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to pause for a moment.
Okay.
That'll fall into a blooper.
Okay. Hold, please.
It didn't go into the computer, did it?
And people say podcasts aren't dangerous.
Hey, you know, I've got a few stains that I might need you to come over and take out of the carpet, but
Well, I'm not doing a good job. I wouldn't hire me.
but A for effort though.
So what he's actually saying is this is the third company he was talking about.
Oh yeah. You're giving us.
I roll out like a knife set thing.
Yeah.
Where it's just a bunch of...
What is this? This is a titanium-based
I
spray
come out
bottle?
with like I come back with like one of the mics here. It's like here it
You have
is.
like one of those watchmaker magnifiers. So you're just...
For my next trick, I will make sure not to show my landlord that video. Bye deposit. Just kidding. It looks fine.
It looks fantastic.
Okay.
Moving on.
Wow. A lot of emotions just happened right now. My forearm hurts from cleaning.
Yeah,
My feet are wet.
they should be.
But we're gonna trudge through this
Moving on to the next.
because
prop.
I'm for the content. Okay, next one. A company called Luggage Hero. It's basically a little place that you can, if you're visiting a city, you can like store your stuff there. $8 a day, 70 cities, 3.5 million bag storage hours. All luggage is insured against damage, lost, and theft. Yeah, right. Only certified local shops approved by Luggage Hero. So I guess they're not really setting them up. They're sort of going into businesses in the locale areas, petitioning them to have this service.
How many
there.
locations?
Well, 70 different cities, 766 plus 760 storage locations. You don't think there's anything?
No, there's.
You don't
no-
think people want to store stuff?
Why? Why? Well, why would you call some company that's going to charge you when you could go down to the front desk at the hotel and ask them to hold your luggage until you go to the airport? To me, I don't see. I don't know. I mean, what are they going to do? Come and pick up your luggage, or do you have to go there? So if you're somewhere in the city, you've got 4 hours before you actually depart, and you don't want to have your luggage with you. I mean, I get it. Been in that situation so many times, but then you have to figure out where they're at, how to get there, how much is it going to cost.
I'm sure it's an app, right? I'm sure it's like pretty app heavy.
What, are they going to send a drone to pick up your baggage?
No, but I guess the idea would be like if I'm visiting Paris or something and I don't want to walk around Paris with my bags.
Well, yeah, they did
Or
that.
something
That's
like
why they
that.
put lockers in the train stations. They have lockers at the airport. I mean, again, I'm just saying from an investment standpoint, they are definitely tapping into a market that
I guess the
has
upside is it
growth.
seems like pretty cheap. It doesn't seem like something that would cost a lot to do.
Well, $8.
I'm saying like for them, like the overhead.
Oh, no. I mean, you you take a very large space. I mean, really the key would be tracking, because I can't tell you how frustrating it is when the airlines lose your luggage and they supposedly track it. So, you know what I mean? How are they going to track and know you're, not just throwing it into the abyss and giving them $8?
Yeah, so here's a FAQ. Where's luggage stored? Luggage sites are located inside existing businesses, including retail outlets, hotels, cafes, and more. All are vetted by Luggage Hero's local employees who perform regular quality checks. Every piece of luggage is stored away from any public access and secured with a security seal every time. So there's not much to this. It's basically...
Yeah, they're going out to a business and saying, hey, open your doors.
And maybe it's
to
like
us.
a partnership, I guess.
It's definitely
right?
a partnership.
Where it's like, you
It's
come
more
here,
like
get a
affiliation.
coffee. What's that?
Sorry, it's more like affiliation. Like
Talking to it.
Oh, so it's more like an affiliation. I mean, they might have found a niche market. Because think about it. Statistically, more and more people are staying at hostels and things when they go to other places.
I would
or they're
agree with that.
backpacking.
I would agree.
Did you want to drag a 70-pound suitcase around Barcelona?
No, I didn't.
I wouldn't want to carry a 30-pound bag around, like, let's say, Chennai, India. Because it's hot.
But I guess where you're staying, couldn't you just leave it there and then
Well, that's
leave it at the
my
place you're
point.
staying? But I guess the hostels may be a good point because like
Yeah.
there's strangers there. So if you could,
Yeah, so if you're taking affiliation with a already established business there that has something of a plan, they already have the infrastructure, the structure to actually secure these items, you might be onto something. You just got to actually be transparent, completely open, and you might want to have some honesty with your insurance plan because An affiliation doesn't mean that business is going to 100% read into the insuring the bag thing.
Yeah, I don't believe anything when someone says it's insured. That doesn't make any sense.
I mean, I trust that. I trust in a business like that more than I trust in like the beef beehive business.
Yeah, no.
The beef beehive.
The beef beehive. Yeah, no. I again, I could see in certain places, like I agree with you on places like Barcelona. That was an issue, where you've got potentially a gap between stays, and you don't want to be running around with your luggage with you. That you're kind of putting a target on yourself when you're running around with your luggage.
Yeah.
But again, I think it has some options. It's a concept. They're solving a problem though. This is the thing that I'll say. I talked about this earlier.
Yeah, exactly. It's like there's so many people out there. You just never know. There's so many people that use.
And Tyler kind of just hit the nail on the head by what he just brought up on the video here. Like he brought up Rome, which is I'm not calling Rome out here, but they do have a problem with property crime towards tourists. So if you can like stage your major end items there, like, come on, you don't want people stealing your chonies in the middle, like right outside the Coliseum. Like that's just a bad look for a vacation.
Yeah.
So you're getting peace of mind, hopefully. So I mean, they have a good business model. Let's just see the true facts.
Yeah, the more I think about it, they are solving a problem, because everyone checks out of their hotel at a certain time, and then there's hours that you have to figure out what you're going to do with your luggage. I hate to say it, it seems to be very common when you're traveling. There's this gap, and they are filling that void, definitely giving you a solution. I'd just be curious how easy it is to get them your luggage. Obviously, they say it's in multiple locations, so they have affiliate relationships, which is great.
Sorry, I'm going to cut you off.
Yeah.
Here's where I would use it. If we were in Rome, right, we take a day trip somewhere. I pack all my stuff up. Hey, where we're parked is maybe like downtown the city. Oh, well, there's a cafe with this Luggage Hero thing. Like, well, let's take our purses and like your jackets or whatever extra stuff you brought on the road trip. Like, I don't feel comfortable leaving that in the car.
Right.
Let's store it here. Like, that would be something cool. I mean, it's $8 for a day or whatever. Let's say you're gone for all day. Like, that's the $8 if you're already on vacation is like it's
that's nothing.
It's nothing to ensure that your stuff's safe.
And you just brought up the Rome train station, right?
I tried to.
Yeah, Roma Termini. So think about the era of the digital nomad. There's so many Americans, British people like that live overseas, and living in Europe, you can get on a train at any point in time and within hours be in a major city. If you want to take a day trip, I mean, sure, I'll take some stuff because there's always a chance like there might be major snows and trains get knocked out or something ridiculous through the Alps. And this gives you a place to drop your stuff off, enjoy that city, and still have your emergency pack, just in case something goes south. But it's also the fact that digital nomads, a lot of them are content creators. So you want to bring your stuff, but sometimes you want to go
that's a good point.
Kind of like down profiled. So you don't want to take your entire kit with you, so you don't have an $800 camera.
Yeah.
You just want to feed off your phone since, 1080p is apparently like low-level imaging on a phone now.
Yeah. Or if you got like your camera, your drone, all your other stuff, well, it's like, well, this shoot's only going to require my camera. Like, I don't need my drone, my gimbal, I don't need all that stuff. Let's drop this stuff off here. We'll go shoot. We'll come back, grab a coffee. I'll get my other stuff. We'll go out. Have like a hub for your stuff. I do agree. It does seem clunky. It seems a little clunky of like, but I have my stuff there and then like my stuff here, like my other stuff there. But I think like on paper, if I was in a situation where I was like, oh, I don't want to carry around like this giant backpack because I thought it was going to be raining, so I packed a backpack with a bunch of stuff, like, and I don't want to carry this around the city.
I like how you use the word
like that.
I like how you use the word clunky, because that might be the biggest selling point of this business. Is it might be able to streamline things for the nomads or the guys like to stay in hostels a lot more than walking around a city hoping to find like that weird random like local niche place. Like say, I mean, with Scott Oman, I saw a couple places where you can store your bags, and it's way out of the way. Looks a little bit shady, but I mean, if they streamline it and say they go for advertising a Western Union, you can't go more than 3 blocks without seeing that yellow and black sign, right? But they're doing it right.
Well, I can also see, just trying to remember how many bags we had taken when we went to Europe last. We were in a cold climate. We were in a hot climate. We had multiple suitcases. How many times, were we toting those around with us when essentially we could have just left them at a luggage. What is it called?
Luggage Hero.
Luggage Hero. Luggage Hero could have been, been our resource to help us, whether you're, Finland, Barcelona, Italy, England. I mean, those are all different climates where you can actually have less luggage with you. And I like what you said, jumping on the train, because that's so true. That's one thing where the United States has really, I don't want to say failed, but man, being able to get around the cities in different parts of Europe by train, it's so easy. It's sad that we don't have that here. I really have to say that it is, because sometimes it would be way easier to jump on a high speed versus going to the airport, wasting 4 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There is convenience in that. Plus you get to, there's so much to see. Touring Europe via train is the best.
Yeah.
So anyhow, my 2 cents.
All right. Final pitch.
Yes.
What is you guys' favorite? And I know Meatables. We're crossing Meatable off. But of the two, what are you more excited about, or maybe confident that they'll be able to tap into a market that needs to be tapped into?
So if we were going to take ourselves,
and again, we have Labster and Luggage Hero.
Yeah. Labster, I think there's...
This seems like tech is booming. Let's jump on the tech train. Not saying that it's not right, because that's where we're moving. It seems like how many more other sister things are there like this?
The problem with this is that I could go in and there are libraries of tools.
You're talking about a book?
No, I'm not.
It's like no one's reading a book.
I'm talking libraries of tools that you can go on and download and use to learn different techniques, skills, whatever it may be. There is that is a very large market. Okay. Mm-hmm. Not to say that what they've created isn't cool. I like the kind of avatar approach to get engaged. I think that's cool. I think the kids would really enjoy that. It's kind of gamified, so to speak. Mm-hmm. But I see the luggage side of the industry being more of a revenue generator than the other. I would definitely go with luggage.
See, I think this looks kind of fun.
Yeah, again,
I kind of want to do it. I kind of want to get on here.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's gamified.
Yeah.
So, it's gamified, but at the end of the day, you're talking about learning complex things in STEM, which, let's face it, over the past 2 decades, the STEM and extended STEM things have really fallen apart in schools.
What do you mean STEM?
So, the type of learning you're doing here, the actual levels of learning that are occurring. So, as opposed to going to, written English, things like that. The things that schools have moved more towards, these give kind of an interactive interface to allow you to learn the things you're not getting in school. And there's a lot of places where this actually can play out well. Say, for languages, if they put it in more of the Eastern Hemisphere languages to allow students there to learn. Look at just the massive amount of infighting you see for, testing out there.
Yeah.
Or tutoring. Mm-hmm. You can make probably $20,000, $30,000 a year just going overseas and tutoring people how to do Calculus 1. And then you have the interface here. So they do have potential. The question is, can they deliver it in a way that it's not clunky? It's not like a free app on iTunes.
What's interesting, and I hate to interrupt you, but what's interesting is when they're doing these different procedures, does it tell you what types of materials are being used? Because I see,
if you look in the bottom left corner there, it looks like it gives you kind of like a read.
Okay, so to me that's pretty interesting to say, okay, I'm going to test this and this together and get a reaction without having to be in a lab.
Yep.
Yeah.
To me, the normal person that normally doesn't get all excited over that, they've gamified something that normally, reading about this would bore the hell out of people.
Okay. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Sure.
For me, I wouldn't sit down and say, I'm going to put this chloroform with this, and you're going to get a reason.
Why are you getting chloroform?
Yeah.
Why is that the thing?
I'm just kidding. But you know what I mean? It's like you've kind of made this. This is made being that mad scientist.
So
educational.
That's fair. Maybe it's just the fact that I'm a super nerd, and I enjoy things like that.
Pull the mic closer.
I'm more or less a super nerd, and I just don't know how to hold a mic to my face. Apparently.
Well, maybe they have a video on that.
Yeah, I should learn. I should subscribe. Let's see how much it costs.
You should, yeah.
But at the end of the day, can you show me over a period of time an actual viable, transparent amount of information that tells me that you are actually have a successful product here. And then the other thing is, as we started out, sorry not to cut you guys off.
Yeah.
I got bored while you guys were talking back and forth. I looked at the about page for that. It actually seems like a pretty legit business. Like the people who made it, they're pretty smart. They're actually trusted by like universities in Europe and the United States. Yeah. So how are you going to deliver what you're on? Like, can you? It's a matter of can they keep to what they put. So I would take them before I take Luggage Hero, just because I feel like we need to see the market come back for tourism after what we've been going through for the past few years to really drive that home.
Okay.
I'm surprised Fallon went to tourism. I guess if I had to pick one, I'd probably pick Labster, just from education is cool and making people in the world smarter and giving them more opportunity. I think is just always the best option.
All of that's cool, but if I'm investing, I want to know I'm making money tomorrow. And that would be the thing, is that I don't know if a concept and a gamified company is going to generate $1. It's cool. They've really put a lot of time into this. And again, there's probably more specifics, but we weren't going that deep.
Yeah.
But so when I look at placing funds, the luggage business has proven they have a relationship. They're in 70 cities already. That means that there's potentially a P&L that I can look at and see patterns to be able to either, one, assist. Because if you're going to invest in a company, if you just want to give them money, great. Just give them money. But you might be able to assist in taking it to that next level. And if you're already seeing patterns, that's what I love about reading those statistics, because they will tell you a story. So that's how I, quickly made my decision. Luggage would be more viable just because it's already in motion. We didn't, when I asked all those questions about this company, we didn't have the answers for it. That just tells me that, again, anyone can create a great presentation and tell you that they've got an about us that's great.
Yeah.
Show me your P&L.
All right. That was fun.